and my professional exposure. So for those who do not know who I am, my name is Landry Meya. I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm currently based in a city called Johannesburg in South Africa. And I'm a business, let's just say I'm an entrepreneur. I do own few companies that I run with my partners and also some of our colleagues as well. So the first company that I own, it's called Akata. And Akata is basically a company that's supplying the mining industry in Africa. So we are based in Johannesburg. That's where our headquarters is. And we also have a few offices in some other African countries as well. So mainly Democratic Republic of Congo in the Kolwezi area, which is a mining town, and also in Zambia, not too far from the Kitwe area. And we do have few partners in various countries in Africa, and we also have customers that we supply into various countries in Africa, mainly Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa, DRC, and Ghana. So that's what Akata is all about. So our main focus when it comes to the mining industry, we focus on mining, engineering, and new technology. So we look at all the upcoming, or let's say new technology, and look at how we can make lives of miners better. And then the second company, it's a consulting arm. It's called Smart Africa 4.0, and Smart Africa 4.0 is basically a consulting organization where we're focusing on not only improving the lives of African business people, but also business executives in providing ideas, solutions, and strategies on how they can run their business, and also understanding where the fourth industrial revolution is taking us. So the main vision of Smart Africa 4.0 sits on the 9 pillars of the Industry 4.0. So the 9 pillars of Industry 4.0, and we also look at on how we can actually help people to navigate through the new normal, because it has impacted so many businesses. So it, of course, as we call it new normal, it also means that we need to change our ways of doing business and understanding where the world is taking us, so that we can manufacture our own future. So that's very important. And so today I will be talking about qualities of a manager. I always start with the topic, and I always correct the topic. So the topic that I've given myself, but I always enjoy correcting it. So as much as we can talk about qualities of a manager, and I already focus on quality of not only a manager, but a good leader, because a manager should be a good leader. So that's where I'm seeing this discussions going. And regarding few rules of this discussion, it is an engagement. So please feel free to stop me. Perhaps I might not be able to see when you raise your hand, because I might be too focused on what I'm talking about, but please just try to stop me and ask your questions and let us engage. I think today we're gonna do it differently. We've been doing so many things and doing things differently, coming up with slides. So today we really want to have a conversation. And I believe we do have managers here, so it's also becoming important for all of us to learn from each other and see how we can pick up few tricks, but also understanding new ways of doing things and learning and upskilling ourselves. So a research that was done by a lady by the name of Catherine Duluth. She's a researcher. She speaks a lot about management and quality of leaders and so on. So I will share some of her research, but also some of my understanding in regards to qualities of a good manager. So the first quality of a good manager, for me, I feel that it starts with a vision. a vision, and you cannot talk about vision without mission. So being a good manager, first of all, you need to have a vision for your team, a vision for your company. But when we're talking about vision for your company, you also need to be aligned with the company vision and, of course, the mission statement. So when we look at the vision, we look at where the company would like to be, where the company would like to head. And of course, once you have the vision, you need to look at how are you going to get there. So how do you get there? It's your mission now. So for me, that's very important. Any manager or leader, first of all, need to have a vision. And once you have a vision and a mission, you need to be able to communicate that vision and mission. So here comes what we call an effective communication. A good leader, a good manager need to know how to communicate to his people. It cannot always be your subordinate. It can also be other or external people or your superior as well. So you need to be able to communicate. And by communicating, we also talk about that art of convincing, through your knowledge, but by taking your knowledge and trying to transfer it into others, and also how to assist them. So that's the first point. The first point is basically you need to have a vision and mission and be able to communicate that vision and mission to your colleague, your subordinate, or even external partners, so that you have a clear indication on where you want this organization or your specific department to go. So the second point, which is also another quality of a manager, is you need to be responsible and independent. What does it mean? I think it's also important knowing that as a manager, you do not have to know everything. That's something that is very important. You need to understand, and you need to know yourself. So, but you need to be responsible. Responsible simply means that you need to be responsible for your action, and you need to be responsible for your decisions. So as a manager, you don't hide behind other people. When you take a decision, even when that decision do not work, take full responsibility. And that also shows a great leadership skills, because nobody's expecting you to be perfect, and nobody's expecting you to know it all. But when you take a specific decision, be able to back that decision, but also be able to take responsibility and be accountable for that. So accountability is also part of this second quality of a manager. And the third quality of a manager is knowing how to be in command. I think many people, this is where people go wrong, and when they don't understand that this is the time that you need to take control of your team and make that decision, because if you do not make that decision, nobody will make that decision for you. And when the boat is shaking, it's also the time that you need to be making the decision, and you need to decide where you are going with your team. So based on understanding of your team and knowing all your parameters and situations, you should be able to make the decision based on that. So that's also knowing how to be in command. So it's very important, because sometimes if you do not know where to stand and also be in command, it might start overlapping, because here comes a colleague that start making decision on your behalf, because they feel that you are not strong enough to take control and make that decision. So knowing how to be in command as a manager, it's also very important, and it's very crucial for any managers to be aware of that. So the fourth quality, I believe that it's taking the right decision at the right time. Not all decisions are the right decision, but you need to know how to take the right decision at the right time. What do I mean by that? I'll give you a simple example. During this pandemic, there have been so many leaders that couldn't make the decision on when they should be telling the subordinate or their colleague when they should be making the decision, and tell them, we do not want you to be coming in the office anymore. Because of these reasons, you have to be working from home. So such decision becomes also crucial, because yet you need to understand that it's either you make that decision or you will be accountable for actually exposing people into a disease or a pandemic. So it's very important. You need to read the situation. Based on the situation, you make the right decision. So that's just a simple example, but there are also many examples that one might remember, maybe during your tenure, during your time when you are working with a colleague, you had to make the right decision at the right time. And those decisions can also be based on a specific strategy or sales strategy, or can be based on a specific promotion or marketing that you wanted to take. So you need to read the season, you need to read the location, and understand when you should be making that decision. So it's very simple. You know, when it's Christmas, you don't decide to sell Easter eggs. So that's also a simple example of making the right decision at the right time. So the fifth quality, which I believe that is it's very important, it's showing managerial courage. Courage, it's on itself already, it's very critical, but now showing managerial courage, it also means that you need to be able to back your team when simple as that, when the executive feel that your team is underperforming, for instance. This is just an example. So as a good manager, you need to show the courage and going back to the executive and explain to them what are the reasons that you're not performing. And that's just an example, but managerial courage is very important, and you need to be able to stand, and your yes should be yes and your no should be no. So that's also what we call managerial courage, and you should be accountable for that. So that's very important. And then the sixth quality, for me, it speaks about it all. It's showing leadership and inspiring others. This is very important. People that are looking up to you because they're inspired by you. And as a manager, if you cannot inspire people, not only they do not feel like working for you, but they also at some point demotivated in a way, because you need to show that leadership skills. You know, when they look at you, not only they have to look up to you, but they also need to look at you and say, I do have the right leader, and I trust that leader when he makes the decision, because your decisions are not only form decision, but also you always look at everyone's interest when making that decision. So it's a leader is basically a selfless person. So you don't always think about yourself, but you think about the organization and the people that are working with you in that organization. So leadership and inspiring others is very important, because we are all inspired by people. You know, some are inspired by their fathers, some are inspired by their mothers, some are inspired by some movie stars, some are inspired by some writer of a book, Kobe or Paulo Coelho or whoever, I don't know, but you are always inspired by somebody. And there is always someone that you look up to. So that's very important. As a manager, you need to show leadership and be able to inspire others. Because I remember during my years in corporate, I was so inspired by a German man called Robert Bosch. He started a conglomerate, and today it's a company that is hiring more than 450,000 people. And there are so many values that you could find in that person. And he has said so many things, such as he will rather walk away from a deal if respect is not there. So you can really understand the values that has been driving that person during his years, and how he has been able to build a multinational that is sitting today on more than 78 billion euro turnover. You can already start not only understanding that leadership in that person, but also how he has inspire you. So inspiration is very important, and as a leader, you need to be able to inspire people, because if you cannot inspire people, I have to tell you now, you already have a problem there that you need to start looking at. It's either if you can perhaps look at some of your skills that are missing, and a leader always learn. So you need to keep on learning. You do not stop, because that's the only way you will inspire others, by learning and acquiring more knowledge, so that you can share that knowledge and wisdom with your colleagues.
Landry, can I say something, please?
Yes.
Actually, this whole situation with COVID-19 showed on many borders how crap and rubbish the leadership was. Because I've just been listening to you saying they should have been this, they should have been that. We saw none of that, to be honest. I don't know what everybody
I don't even want to go
thinks.
deeper. Even
No, I don't want to go deeper either.
Borders, even decision
Every
of
level,
closing borders, and
everything,
so many things,
everything at all levels. Yeah.
It shows leadership. It shows taking the right decision at the right time. You do not have to look at what's only happening to others if the others haven't closed their borders. You need to make a decision based on your country and based on your understanding of the situation with your expert around you. So that's very important and critical in leadership.
But I think just very, very few areas, most companies didn't have any vision, most countries didn't have any vision. I think very few industries, like the healthcare industry, because they had to get their act together because people were falling sick. So the hospitals had their leadership in place, the schools had their leadership in place, some of the universities had in place. But other than that, a lot of things, we just saw the worst side of leadership ever.
No, very true. And even when you look at the leadership of the hospital, for instance, remember, hospitals are depending on also the state in terms of leadership. So if the hospital have made the right decision, but the state hasn't made the right decision, and people keep on being exposed, it simply means that the hospital will be overcrowded, despite the fact that the hospital did take the right decision. So it's a cycle. It really needs to work together when it comes to leadership, and especially top leaders need to make the right decision at the right time, to save lives, to save businesses, and to save and even people's jobs as well. So on the seventh, let's just say seventh quality of a leader, it's having intellectual resources. Intellectual resources.
Sorry, Landry.
Yes.
Yeah, Junior here. Before you actually jump in the seven quality, because you've mentioned a very important point in terms of quality is actually taking decisions. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's a very good. I won't say topic, but I'll say attribute for a manager. So, in your view, how you measure a good decision? Why am I asking that question? Because for me, I've learned a lot around that point, and then I realized that good decision actually has a timeline in it, right? A good decision may be looking at the wrong one at the present, but being in fact very good for in the long term, you see. So what is in your view, in your experience, how you measure a good experience? Because like, I'll just give an example that may be stupid, but I know that there is no stupid example. A company, based on your decision, a company may be losing money right now, right? And then overall, people will tend to say that was a bad decision, but in the long run, that loss actually is going to be a foundation for the company to generate even more money in the future. So how you measure, in your view, in your experience, with what you gain, what is the acronym allowing you to measure what was a good or a bad decision? Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Junior. Yeah, so I think first of all, what is important is that you've said it yourself, we need to look at timeline, right? So even a decision, it's basically, let's just call it a strategy, because a decision is linked to the strategy for an organization.
Definitely.
So you have an operational decision, which can be a decision based on how many people do we need today in order to run this business right now. But you can also make a decision that could be a tactical decision or a strategic decision on, we are hiring 20 people, and out of these 20 people, we will pull 5 of them that will become manager in the next 5 years. That's your strategic decision. So those people that you're taking on an operational level, they're learning right now on the field. These are the people that will bring the knowledge that they've acquired on the field now to make the strategic decision or tactical decision 5 years after. That will actually double the turnover of the company because they have a better understanding of the field.
Definitely.
So in the end of the day, is for me what is important, and I always say a decision will never lie, because the result will show if it was the right or bad decision. But it also important, as you've said for yourself, is in an organization, one need to understand, is the decision we're making now an operational decision, or is it a tactical for 2 years, or a strategic decision? So that's very important, as you've said it yourself, because what we might consider today as a bad decision because the company has break even, or perhaps that the company has run on loss, but this same decision 4 years after, this is what will generate a lot of money. So I'll give you a very interesting example. 10 years ago, you and I weren't talking about Zoom, right? Nobody was speaking about Zoom 10 years ago. And I'm sure whoever that started Zoom was already discouraged by people that could believe that Skype was the best thing ever. But because of that decision the person made, and the future, the advantage and benefit of Zoom, today, and also being exposed to COVID, Zoom has been shown as the best medium ever for conference call. And the company has just gone high on 51 billion USD value. So that's what we call strategic decision. But I tell you, 10 years ago, I'm sure people were looking at the founder of Zoom as someone that, how do you even want to compete with Skype? What for? Are you going to win that war? But I'm sure that he had a vision, and it was a strategic vision. He knew what people wanted, and he knew how he could become more competitive in the market compared to Skype. And how light it will be on data.
Exactly. And the other
yes,
thing to add to what Junior is saying, when there is a good decision, so success has many fathers. It's everybody's a good.
Exactly.
When it's a bad decision, failure is an orphan. It was nobody is the one who made the bad decision. But if it's successful, everybody made it and everybody participated. We're seeing this all across.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very true. Very true. And Junior has said something very important. And now I actually realize that what we might call a bad decision today might be the result of your success tomorrow.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's depend on timing and how strategic you've been making that decision, and what do you believe in when making that decision. So based on some assumptions and understanding, and that's where we are. That's where we are. I will give you another example, which is very simple. 20 years ago, nobody was speaking about Tesla because Toyota was the biggest thing ever, sitting on the top car manufacturer in the world, and running basically, if I'm not mistaken, on more than 200 billion now. But nobody saw Tesla coming. And all Tesla did, or Elon Musk did, was just to look at where our future's going. Where are we going with our lives? And based on that, he started putting product in place that speaks about our future, not only climate change, speaks about renewable energy, and also speaks about reducing so many risks of human interventions and putting autonomous and robotic in advance or in the forward. So that's also another strategic decision. So years back, people might have looked at Elon Musk and thinking that this guy is a dreamer. He's just dreaming because he doesn't understand where we are going. And today, so many things are making sense with what Tesla strategic decision is taking our world. Because today, Tesla, in terms of valuation in the world of car manufacturer, is number one car manufacturer in the world in terms of valuation. So these are making the right decisions at the right time. But at that time, people might look at it and say, Chief, you are making the wrong decision here. You also need to believe in yourself. You also need to believe on your reading of the future, you know, because people that were called dreamers, it's people that we are reading today, and they are all sitting on the top list of Forbes, simply because, you know, they believed in their dreams and they've made it happen. Starting from your Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and all those guys, they believe in their dreams. You know, because when Bill Gates wanted to build a small PC, a personal computer, IBM told him that he was crazy. Because back then, the size of a computer wasn't looking like a laptop that we have today. So you have to believe in yourself.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Do we have someone? I believe there is someone speaking.
Yeah, it's me, Larson.
Larson.
How you doing, brother?
I'm very well.
Good,
How's
good. Yeah,
the US treating you?
Good, very. That's the point I want to mention here, because, you know, you mentioned Tesla, you mentioned, you know, all these big, you know, Zoom, Google. I mean, all these big companies that they were one day just an idea, then, but because the leadership, they believe in their ideas and they have a vision for it, and now it's here. We have Google is the number one. We have Apple. We have Microsoft. We have, and I think that has to do a lot with where you are and the environment when you are, because a lot of people, you know, when they make the decision, you need to make the decision. Your decision will be affected by your circumstances, your environment. Sometimes there is very good leaders or smart people in different places. They can make the decision, but they cannot because somebody else is saying, no, you're wrong. My decision is right, or my idea is right. Why? Because they feel like maybe they're under dictatorship or something like that. So I think the system where you are, it helps, or it can be a factor of making your decisions and working your visions. I know some people, for example, because they get so like stopped, they have to move somewhere else because they have to change the whole country because they cannot get their vision true because somebody else is saying, no, you cannot work on your vision. You have to change. But just going back to the topic about the managers, the difference between managers and leaders, mostly managers, not all the managers are leaders and not all leaders are managers. Mostly managers, they manage things. Like, if I ask you to manage a company, I give you whatever you have to do and you manage it. You come in every day, you open, turn the lights on, do this, make sure everybody show up, make sure everybody's doing their work. But the leaders normally, they just have a vision and they have, they could lead people, but people they cannot be managed. They have to be lead. I mean, if somebody is trying to manage people, mostly people, for example, you cannot push people. You have to lead people. You have to pull them, give them a hand if they need help, and help them. And also, they say managers make things right, but the leaders do the right thing. So mostly, the leaders, they do always the good things, the good decisions. Even in this pandemic, a lot of people talk about the pandemic. This is out of hands. This is nobody can manage it right. It's a very big thing, and you cannot just stop the whole country at once and say, okay, now we have a pandemic. Let's shut down all the airports. This is not as easy as a lot of people think. And they know some people they're gonna die, some people they're gonna suffer, because it's big. It's bigger than what we think. It's not a small thing. So I don't want people to think like because some countries they couldn't manage it because they have a bad leadership. No, because it's too big. When you're talking about millions of people, that's a lot of people. You cannot just say, today we're gonna shut down the airports. You can't do that. It doesn't work. It's not that easy. I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much of your time. I just want to comment. That's all.
No. That's fine. Look, I always enjoy discussing with you, but I agree with few of your points. But I also feel that opportunities are everywhere, and I do not want us to think that those people that I've mentioned, because most of them are only Americans, that
not necessarily Americans. I mean,
yes,
not all of
that opportunities are only in America. So why am I saying that? Look, America's sitting with, I'm just talking about North America alone, sitting with more than 658 billionaires, right? And Europe, I think Europe should be sitting with more than, let's just say 200. And Asia, China alone, I think China should be sitting on even more than 380 billionaires. And Africa sitting on 19 billionaires. So opportunities are everywhere.
Yes,
as much as in some countries, it's not really easy because of the accessibility of wealth and also because of the limitation of classes, moving from a low class to middle or rich class and so on. It's those everyday challenges. Like in Africa, we also understand not only the issue of poverty, but even the issue of wealth creation, which is a big challenge because of the leadership of the continent. But we shouldn't also say that there are not opportunities in Africa, because we still have your Aliko Dangote, your Motsepe, your Oppenheimer, and all those guys. They are sitting on top, and some of them are even running Swiss companies and even US companies. So it's just important to know who you are and where you want to be, and what will work for you. Because I truly believe that most of the people haven't found themselves until now. Because As soon as you find what you are passionate about, that's where the true meaning of success starts. So it doesn't even start with the money, but it's first start with your peace, your inner self, finding yourself first. Because by finding that passion, then you stop working, because now what people are calling work is no longer work for you. It's your passion. You are doing it every day. You are doing it every hours, you know. And I think that's where we all want to be. And I always say life is a journey. So some they're already halfway, and some are on the fast lane, and some on the slow lane. But it's all about getting there safe, you know, in your destination. I think that's what is important. So on point 7, I've spoken about having intellectual resources, and what do we mean by intellectual resources? So a great leader always wants to evolve, learn. You know, it's very important. You want to better yourself. You want to learn, and we do not stop learning. So as a leader or a manager, that's what we all want to do. We want to keep on learning, exploring things, and understand how it works, and also understanding the context on how or where you can apply it. Because you can learn about something, it's a good thing, but the application of it can become a wrong thing. So it's very important to also look at what we're learning and where do we apply those things. And life is the best school ever, as I always say. So life will teach you everything that you need to learn, and even things that you might not be able to acquire or learn in university. Life will teach you that. And it's very important to read through life and understand where we are all going, and be able to make the right decision, not only for your own future, but also for the organization that you are running and people that are after you. So on point 8, which is also another quality of a manager or a leader, it's having political sense. So this is now when people get it wrong. So as soon as you hear political sense, you're like, okay, do you have to be politics? Yes, corporate business, it's also about politics. There are some stuff you do not have to say it now, you know. There are some decisions you need to understand when you should be speaking about that decision. Simple thing. Are you going to go straight to your people and tell them that they will be retrenched tomorrow? Or are you first going to understand how you're going to manage that decision, and also how you're going to bring such bad news to them? So that's what we talk about, political sense, and also managing communication, you know, between let's just give an example, between low management and upper management, understanding how to manage that communication level. So some people can be very raw when they're saying things, but you as a leader, you need to know how to manage those communication so that nobody feel bad about it, but actually we are all focusing into one thing and making sure that the organization move forward. So that's very important. And on point 9, it's empathy. Wow, this is amazing. People always talk about sympathy, but we need to talk about empathy. What is empathy actually? Empathy, for me, it's very important. You need to put yourself in somebody's shoe. You need to understand where the other person is coming from. You don't have to go through what they've gone through in life, but you just need to understand where they're coming from before you make that decision. It's very important. And that's why I always say that a good leader is a good listener, because you need to know the people that you are working with. And when they're coming to you with issues or concerns, you know, first of all, you need to understand where they're coming from before you make your decisions. Because most of the time, as you make a quick decision, it always results to people being unhappy about a certain issue or whatever it is. So that's why it's very important Look at where people are coming from. Try to understand where they're coming from. Put yourself in their shoes before you make that decision. So it's very important for a leader as well. And then on number 10, which is the 10th quality of a leader, it's humility. Yeah, I know for many people, they believe being a leader is just ruling with that stick and telling people what to do. No. It's also being humble. Humility. You need to humble yourself. Be able to recognize when you are wrong. People are not expecting you to be perfect. And I promise you, your people will even appreciate you more when you go back to them and tell them that, I'm sorry about the situation, I was wrong with my reading. Not only you are showing to them that you are human, but you're also showing to them that you are not perfect. And that's why you need them as a team. They need to support you. They also need to come up with new idea. And that's what leadership is also about. You need to be humble. Humility is very important. And if we have to move into point 11, it's emotional intelligence. It's so difficult nowadays to talk about management, to talk about leadership, and not talk about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, it's all about knowing yourself, and also knowing others, understanding others, and understand that balance, how you can work with that balance. And that's what EQ is all about. So emotional intelligence is very important. And especially that pressure of surrounding yourself with an environment and everything. You need to understand, you need to be able to orient your thought, your thinking, your way of doing things, so that you know yourself and you understand. Before making such decisions, you think about it, because at situation like this, I might be overwhelmed, I might be upset, I cannot make this decision right now. So it's very important. And many leaders or many people haven't been speaking about emotional intelligence, but I think it's very important in today's world and today's professional environment. We keep on talking about emotional intelligence, because you need to understand and evaluate your own emotions and those of others around you, because it's very important. Manage your emotions and be able to manage other people's emotions, because if you cannot manage your own emotions, you cannot manage other people's emotions. So it's very important. And then on point 12, I think it's surrounding oneself well. So surround yourself with good people. A great leader is not afraid to hire someone that is more smarter or that is clever than him. Because there is no pressure there. Actually, that person will even bring you more contribution that you need for your success as an organization. So a smart leader will always make sure that he's surrounded with smart people. And sometimes it's even people smarter than you. And you need those people around you, because as soon as they start talking, they bring you to another dimension, even of yourself, that you weren't thinking about, or you weren't seeing it on that angle. So it's very, very critical to be surrounded by, quality, not quantity, but quality, because quality will always deliver a great and amazing result. And as a leaders, you need to be able to harness all those things. You need to be able to bring all those people together, help them to work together, help them to manage their emotions, so that you get to the goal or achieve the goal that you want to achieve as an organization. So do not be afraid to get qualified people, smart people around you, because these are the people that will bring you the result that you need. And also, you know, they make your life easy. They make your life easier simply because they know what they need to be doing, and you delegate them and you expect the result. And some of them you don't even have to consult anymore. As soon as you just delegate them, you know what they're going to do, and you know the type of quality or result they will bring to you. So that's also very, very critical. So on point 13, this is now the 13th quality of a leader. It's being action and solution oriented. Being action and solution oriented. Why are we speaking about action and being solution oriented? You know, when running an organization or even running a group of people or leading a group of people, there are so many noise. So many people will be coming with their ideas. But sometimes you do not have to take all of that, because as soon as you start taking all of that, I promise you that boat will sink. So first of all, you need to have your own foundation. You need to have your own vision and commitment and mission statement. And whatever idea people are bringing to you, it needs to speak or be aligned with the mission, the vision and your mission. Because if it's not aligned with your vision and mission, you have to walk away from that. It might sound amazing, but remember, you have a mission and a vision. If it's not aligned with that, you cannot look at it, because otherwise you'll be running with two things and you might not even be able to achieve your goals, simply because now you have diverted, now you have shift energy, and you cannot achieve the goal that you want to achieve. So it's very, very important. And when taking or being action, so it simply means that, you know, you need to be focused and you need to action things accordingly, so that the solutions or the focus or the goal that you want to achieve is always your first or your priority. So it's very important, because those that has been successful, or those who are successful, they've decided to focus on what they believed, and they work through that, and their vision and mission, and whatever they were coming up with idea, or even when years are changing and technologies are coming, they're still focusing on the goal, the vision and mission, but they're just taking the new technology and aligning it to the vision and mission that they had already. Because as soon as you start changing your vision and mission, I can already tell you something's wrong there. Something's definitely wrong. There are things in an organization you don't easily change. It's your vision and mission. You can align few solutions or strategies to help you move forward with your vision and mission, but you have to be focused. And that's very important for a leader, because if you cannot focus, I promise you, people will come with beautiful idea, and they will always take you away from your own vision and mission. So that was point 13. And point 14, it's knowing how to delegate and trust others. I was speaking about it a few minutes ago, and that's actually what a leader is about. I think you need to know your team. You need to know the type of quality or strength and weakness that you have around you, because I can promise you, you will never find a person with just strength and no weakness. They all have weakness. We all have weakness. So you need to be able to know your people. Their strength, their weakness, you need to know it, so that, you know, this person, when it comes to delivering on business development, he always brings me the best result. This person, when it comes to doing a qualitative research, he always brings the best result. This person, I can't even close my eyes, and when he speaks about marketing and the strategy we're going to do, it's always the best. So you need to know your people, you need to know their qualities, you need to know their strength and weakness, so that when you delegate them and when you're expecting the result, it doesn't become a double work. So when they come to you, you're already happy. It's just there might be few things that you can fine tune there, and it's done. So that's also very important for a leader, and I think we even see it in many, not only organization, even country, and when presidents decide to select specific advisors or ministers, you can clearly see that this person is selecting, this is an expert in a specific matter. So what the president is expecting from that person is the recommendation, not for the president to tell him what he needs to do. No. He's coming with the recommendation to the president and tell the president, based on my experience, this is how we deal with such matter. This is how we deal with a specific sector. So that's very, very critical. So you need to be able, that's why you'll see leaders, they will delegate people, and those people will go and do what they're supposed to do. And when they come back, they bring the result. So they don't bring you something that will become a nightmare for yourself, because now you need to go back there and go and fix it by yourself. No, it simply means that even for yourself, you've already failed to select the right person for that job. Because after 3-6 months already, you will know if the person that you have in front of you, he will be able to do the job that you will task him to do. So that's very important, delegating. And yes, once in a while, people can come to consult with you because they also want your opinion as a leader and so on. Nothing's wrong with that. They always need to consult as well. But when you delegate someone, you should expect at least 75% of the job will be done. So that's on the 4th position. And of course, if we have to move into the last one, which is the 15th quality of a leader, is being positive, enthusiastic, and cultivating the joys of working in a group. This is where many leaders fail, because when they hear the name leaders, they always believe that they should be independent and they should just make decisions by themselves. They should just do things by themselves, and that's it. No. As a leader, you also need to be able to work in a group. Individualism is a good thing. It's a great thing. It also shows quality of a leader, but collectivism is also a good thing, because it's important. You need to work with your team. You need to listen to others, be able to pick few ideas from others, bring it all together, and create something that even themselves, they will be amazed with what you've put together on all the discussion you've been having with them. And being positive. I think if you have a negative leaders, you have to walk away from him. I have to tell it, him or her. If you have a negative leader, you have to walk away from that person, because that's not a leader. A leader should always be positive, because without positivity, what are we trying to achieve? So a leader should always be positive, and enthusiasm should be coming from that leader. It should be enthusiastic. So it should be someone that will always be able to motivate you guys, will always be able to push you to reach, to achieve or even reach the extra mile. So I think that's for me what is important for a leader. This is the last point, of course, but it's very important for a leader to be positive, because as soon as you start throwing negativity around you, you're not building a team. You're actually building people that, soon or later, you'll be either talking about, let's just say, staff turnover, or it will become a challenge, because people will always be leaving your department, if it's a department or organization, because people need to be motivated. People need to feel that positive energy around, you know. Even when things are going wrong, you should be the leader that will always motivate people and promise them that there are better days ahead of you. So that's important. That's very important. I really think that the 15th point, which is being positive, enthusiastic, and cultivating the joys of working in a group, is very important, and it's one of the best approach as well for leaders and managers in an organization or group and wherever you are. So thank you very much. That was the 15 qualities of a leader or a manager. Just depend on where you are, but it's very important. I think it's very critical that we also understand the responsibility that comes with leadership. So it's just not about the perks and benefit, but it also the responsibility that comes with leadership, because you are actually not only managing people, but you are leading people. So they are looking up to you, and they look up to you, and whatever you say to them, the direction that you decide, that's the direction that they need to take. So their lives and their future, their career is in your hands. Thank you very much, Wissam, for having